Welcome to Tim's Antique Trains.
I've got another project on the workbench today, and today it is an Athearn Blue Box SD40 with the steam generator in the back. This is a Chicago Northwestern model. It doesn't run, so we're going to make it run. The shell comes off easy enough. You just spread it with your fingers or a small screwdriver if you can't get it off. So there's a few things that I noticed right off the bat. One is that the metal bar across the top is very rusty, and it's probably reducing the electrical conductivity. So I'll get that cleaned off a little later. And the drive mechanism seems to be seized up. It's like it won't spin. So I guess the first thing to do is to take apart the trucks and see what's causing it to be seized up. I'm going to try to get the headlight out of the way. We'll see if that comes. I think I'm just going to bend it right out of the way since it doesn't seem to want to unclip. Alright, the headlight's out of the way, so the next thing that I'll have to do is take off the worm gear housing covers. These should just pop off, but I'm going to have to use a screwdriver on this one. So there's our worm gear with the two bearings. I have to be very careful not to lose those square bearings. So now the motor seems to spin okay. We got the front truck out. And we'll repeat the procedure for the rear truck. Just pop the cover off and the worm gear comes out. I'll set this aside again, careful not to lose the pieces. Alright, the rear truck is now out, and that's as far as I'm going to disassemble the engine as far as the frame goes. Now I will take these trucks apart to clean and oil the gears. Alright, I'm going to take the small screwdriver and pop the cover off the bottom of the truck that holds the two halves of it together. There it comes. So now the plastic clip is off. This appears to be second generation trucks. I do have an Alco PA made by Athearn that has a little bit older design, and I think it uses like a metal clip or something on the trucks. And then the truck side frames are also metal instead of plastic, so I'm guessing this is a second generation. So we'll just separate the halves here and inspect the gears. Actually, they don't look bad at all. There's no hair, very little hair if any. And I do see that the wheels are filthy, so we'll clean that after it's put back together. So I'm just going to go through, pop everything apart, oil it, and put it back together. And I think that's all I'm going to have to do on this truck. It seems there's nothing binding in the trucks, in this truck. So I put two different kinds of oil in. One's a little heavier oil for the gear teeth. And then I have a lighter oil. Both of these are plastic safe, by the way, for the bearings of the gears. I'm not going to put any oil in the axles for the wheels because they are conductive, and I don't know if my oil is conductive. So everything is just going to slide back together. It's a little tricky to get the wheels lined up, but it's not the worst I've had to deal with. Once it's lined up, it really just pops back together really easy. Alright, now I'm ready to put the plastic cover back on. It just snaps on, easy as that. And then there's also an upper cover that will snap on this end. There it is. Alright, one truck is complete, and it's been oiled and lubricated and cleaned. I'm going to do the exact same procedure on the second truck, and I guess I'll do this in fast forward to save a little time. Okay, at this point, both trucks are complete, and I'm going to put them back into the frame. Okay, so next thing I'm going to put the drive tubes back together. These are keyed, so you just spin it around until it slides on. And I'm going to drop the worm gears in place with their little square bushings. I'll do the exact same thing for the front. I was going to put the front one back on, but I noticed that those bearings are very, very stiff. I'm thinking that this is where my problem lies. So I think I'm going to have to degrease those bearings. Somebody probably put some grease on the worm gear and it got into the bearings and then dried out and caused it to seize. So I'm not going to be able to get the middle bearing out, but that's okay. It's less likely to get lost that way. So what I'm going to do is soak this in some degreaser for a little while, some plastic safe degreaser, and then come back after they have been soaked and we'll put it back together. Alright, so I'm putting the front truck back together, and the easiest way is to not put the worm gear in until after the truck is seated on its pivot. Then the next thing is to put the shafts back in place for the drivetrain and snap the bearing and the universal joint together, then install the drive shaft and then connect that to the flywheel. Once the drive shaft is slid together, then you can drop the worm gear back in place. Alright, I'm going to give the motor a quick test, and yep, it looks like it's working great. First thing that I'm going to do is set it up so that the motor spins all the wheels. This will save me a whole lot of time cleaning them. Now I'm taking a little bit of Goo Gone. Now I like to use Goo Gone. I don't have a problem using it. It may leave a residue, but I'm not finished with the Goo Gone because I'm going to polish it a couple more times with the Bright Boy after this. So the Goo Gone will take a lot of the oxidization right off the wheels. Just have to be gentle so I don't wear down the motor too much. And then once this is repeated for all the wheels, then I'm going to come back with the Bright Boy type cleaner and do a little more polishing. And lastly, I'll go over every wheel with the fiberglass pencil just to give it that little bit of fine tuning. Alright, now I'm taking that Bright Boy rubberized Bright Boy type cleaner and polishing all the rust off of the contacts. Alright, the motor and everything is reassembled. So at this point, I'm ready to put the shell back on. Well, one of the couplers popped off, so I'll replace that next. And then we'll put the shell back on, snap it in place, and take it to the track to test it out. Okay, the engine is complete. Now let's take it to the track and give it a test run. This was a really easy repair to do. All of it was done on camera except for the cleaning of the bearings at the sink. And the total time I spent on this project was right about a half hour, so it was really an easy one to fix. Alright, I'll give the engine a test run, and then we'll pull around some freight cars. Thanks for watching this repair video on Tim's Antique Trains. If you liked watching this, be sure to subscribe because there's more like this coming in the future.